Good afternoon. Welcome back to another rousing episode of the B&H Virtual Event Space. I say rousing because we got Shure here today. We have Russ Helfman from Shure. We have a wonderful update that many longtime users of this classic beauty that I'm speaking into right now are going to appreciate. Russ, we're talking the new Shure MVX2U. It's small, it's compact, it's simple. You're going to dive in and give us the specs, but this is a game changer. It's small, but it's a game changer, right? So
Yeah. Yeah,
welcome.
this it thank you. Thanks for having us. Yeah, it's a small yet powerful unit right here. So, before we dive into this, let's do a little bit of a backstory. So, previously, Shure had the MVI, which is a single channel interface that had DSP, and but it didn't have any type of app integration or anything like that. And then we also had the X2U, which was a little XLR to USB adapter. But as as technology evolved and as our users' needs changed, we figured out that we could essentially combine the two, give it the power of our Motive app, and be able to control everything and have a really, really awesome product that is easy to use but super duper powerful. So, couple of things with this one. So again, uh, as you can see here, it is very small. Very easy to throw it into a backpack. You can connect it right to a microphone. It can be connected completely in line. I've got this one here just so I can hold it up to the camera so you can see. It does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack with latency-free monitoring. It has USB-C to connect directly to your computer, Mac or PC. It can be connected directly. Here's an SM58 that I just happen to have with me. You can plug it directly into a microphone and use it this way, or
Awesome.
you can use it the way that I am using it right now, which is in line. You just connect a XLR cable, one side into the MVX2U, other side's USB, straight into the computer, and you've got headphone jack right here for your monitoring, which is exactly how I'm using it right now. So what makes this one so special? So number one, it has 60 dB of gain in the preamp, which means that if you have an SM7B that you'd like to use, there's no need for any external preamps or gain boosters or anything like that. This thing's got the juice in it to give it the level that it needs. It also supplies 48 volts phantom power, so you can use any microphone. You can use a dynamic mic if you want with no phantom power. You can engage phantom power with any condenser microphone that you want to get this into your computer. We talked about the connectivity. It is USB-C and the 3.5 millimeter jack. And it's basically just a great product to get any microphone into your computer. And then when you take this and you pair it with our Motive app, which some of you may be familiar with, that's used for our MV7 USB microphones, the MV88 Plus. Most of our Motive line uses the same app. So we basically integrated the app into the MVX2U. So without further ado, I can share my screen and kind of demonstrate the app for you
Go
guys.
for it.
So here, let me share my app screen here.
The back of that unit reminded me of the MV88 Plus. I'd like
Yeah,
that
a little
similar
bit.
look. It's like nice and compact how it fits everything in there.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, just like that. So here, I just want to make sure you can see
We can
the
definitely
app
see
here.
it.
Cool. So what's really awesome, so I'm using this in manual mode right now because I like to be able to control my gain, but this has auto level, which is really amazing, especially for a beginner or a novice, or if you don't know what gain is or don't care to know what gain is or setting your levels, you can set it to auto level. So I'm going to do that right now, and you're going to hear my level dip down a lot lower. So I'm going to get closer to the mic and we'll demonstrate this. So here we go. So you probably hear me drop down and level a little bit because, and this is how simple this app is, with auto level, all you need to do is you just need to know where you want the microphone positioned. So right now it's set to near, and you can see I am an inch or two away from the microphone, and it's very near. So it's as simple as that. If I want to be able to lean back in my chair, or if I talk with my hands a lot, I can set it to far, and you'll hear my gain all of a sudden just boost it up, and I can now
Wow.
come back here. I can talk with my hands a whole bunch and move around a little bit, and it gives you a little bit more freedom. So I'm going to move back over to near mode because I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. So that's your near and your far. You've got tone controls. And again, you don't need to know anything about what frequencies might be boosted in order to give you a dark tone or a bright tone. All it is, if I want a dark tone, I just click that, it kicks in, and you do hear a little bit more of that bottom end come through. If you're listening on headphones, it'll come through a lot clearer. Yeah, you'll get that nice big boomy broadcasty tone that a lot of people like. I personally, I like the natural tones, a little bit more neutral. But on the other side, if we go to bright, it'll give me a little bit more of that shimmery, kind of glassy kind of tone that some people like also. So ultimately, it depends on your preference and your voice, but any of these three settings are going to make you sound really great. And then speaking of gain settings, we go down here, we have normal, which is how I have it set. If I'm going to yell into the microphone, then it's going to bring the gain down so I can yell if I'm a loud talker. But if I want more gain, I can do this, and that adds a whole lot of gain. So you can hear there. So I like to keep mine at normal. This is where we engage your phantom power if you're using a condenser microphone. I'm using an SM7B right now, which is a dynamic microphone, so we don't need it. But I should point out that on the MVX2U, hopefully you'll be able to see this here, there's a little green light on there, which shows that the MVX2U is active. When you turn the phantom power on, it's actually going to turn red, so you'll know that you have phantom power. Oops, sorry, did somebody jump in?
No, I
Oh,
said
okay.
interesting.
Oh, okay.
I like little lights. I like to
No,
know when something's engaged or disengaged, and
I
a
do.
little light. That's all I need.
I do too, and I'm a big fan of anything that's got a lot of blinky lights and buttons. It makes it look cool.
Definitely.
So more lights, the better. So that's your phantom power. You can mute your microphone from here, and then you have your monitor mix. And what monitor mix is basically your voice or your microphone in relation to anything else that you have going on. So if you're on a Zoom call or a Teams call and you're using it, that's going to be the other side of the call coming in. If you're doing a podcast or you have guests or background music, this is basically just going to, it's just a slider, and it will change the relationship of your voice to the other side of what's coming in. But let's say that you're not new to audio, and you want to get in a little bit deeper, and you'll see that the gain is going to jump up a little bit as I do this. So we switch over to manual mode, and we've got phantom power again, your mic mute, your mic gain, which you can manually control here. Monitor mix is going to look familiar. You have an EQ that you can engage here, and you can do all these frequencies. So if we want to be really drastic, you'd probably never do this in real life, but you can be pretty drastic here, and you can probably hear the changes in the sound as it's
Wow.
coming through.
Yeah.
But it gives you a little bit more contour. So if you wanted to cut out, some really low frequencies, some really high frequencies, you can do that. But we also have a high pass filter, which will cut out low frequencies like HVAC noise or the rumble of a truck going by. This will essentially cut that out. So we have a setting at 75 hertz and 150 hertz for that. We have a limiter, which is basically going to say, whoa, you're way too loud. We need to bring that down a little bit. It's basically going to act like a wall of sound there. And then you have compression, which is going to deal with your dynamics. So if you're speaking at normal volume, and then maybe your volume drops down a little bit, it's going to boost you back up. Or if you all of a sudden start speaking really loud, it'll bring it back down just to deal with the dynamics and keep your voice at a steady level. The other really awesome thing that you can do with this is once you have everything set, you can lock everything out. And you can see here, there's a big lock. You don't have any way to, to get to it when it's locked. And the reason for this, well, you're not the reason, but a really cool way to use it is if you're using this and you're on a Teams call or a Zoom call or, any of those other platforms, a lot of those platforms have, auto level settings and all kinds of auto settings that, basically what'll happen is it can kind of override the app. So when you lock this out, it doesn't allow that to happen. So it's going to keep everything straight and it's going to keep you sounding as good as you want to be.
That's
All right.
huge.
So
I didn't realize that. I thought that was just in the app. That's actually really cool to
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, because sometimes you might think that you turn off the audio settings on on Zoom or Teams, and there's something underneath that's still active that maybe you don't see. So this basically locks everything so that it can't do that. So everything stays nice and even in the way that you have it set and the way that you want to sound. So that's very cool. The other thing that you can do, which is really awesome, is you can save a preset. So if I set everything up here, I can go up and I can save this as a preset once I have everything the way that I want. And it's actually saved to the unit itself, which means that, let's say, for this call, I have everything set the way that I want. I can save myself a preset. And then if I go over to a friend's house to do their podcast, if I want to use this too, when I plug it into their computer, it's automatically going to have my preset loaded. And that way they don't even need to have the MOTIV app, although if they do have it, you can adjust your presets. But if it's something where you're on the go and maybe you have a desktop computer at home and you saved the preset and then you're taking your laptop out, if you're in a hotel or something, you can just plug it right in. You don't even have to worry about the app and everything is set exactly the way that you had it. So that
Wow.
is that's basically what the presets are for.
Super easy, super clean to follow. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, it's a super easy product to use. You don't have to be an audio expert to use it. Again, it's literally I plug my microphone in right here into the standard 3-pin XLR. I've got my USB-C that's going to go right into the computer, and then I have my headphone monitoring, plugged in for monitoring. Now, to control your headphone volume is actually really cool. Even though this is set up as my audio interface for my computer, the same way that you would set up any other audio interface, you would set your, in your computer sound settings, you would set the input as the MVX2U, and you would also set the output as the MVX2U because we want all the audio to pass through here. But you still control your headphone volume from your computer, which is great. So you don't have to worry about opening up the app just to make your headphone volume a little bit louder. You don't have to open up any extra menus or anything. It's just the same way that you would raise your headphone volume if you were listening to music is the exact same way that you would do it while using the MOTIV app. So, so yeah, I mean, we're very excited about this product. It's, again, super easy to use. It's designed for anyone. You could be a beginner. You could be an expert. It's just very, very easy. It sounds great. And again, it's got enough juice in it to push an SM7B.
yeah,
And
and
that's, yeah.
I think a lot of people, if they don't, they see the mic, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it is. That's why I said it's such a classic, widely known mic, no matter if you watch podcasts or radio shows or TV shows, whatever, you see them all over. And I think
Yeah.
what do we do? When we want to get into something, whether it's streaming or just for work calls and we want to sound better, we go to what the people are using that we watch, that we listen to, and you
Right.
see it. And I don't think people realize that I did the work. I once was in that spot where it's like, okay, I need a good mic. You do your research. This is the one. Everyone that you trust and that you know has it. Everything online says this is the one. It's got all the Grammy award winning songs that have been
That's
produced
right.
behind
That's
it.
right.
But then you get into the world of, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. And what's XLR? Why do I need to know this? Okay, so wait, I need an audio interface. What's an audio interface? And then you start diving into that world and it's complicated and you don't know,
Right.
is it too much? Or if I get something, is it not enough? What's phantom power? Do I need phantom power for this? And
Right.
the internet is great. It's a vast world of knowledge, but it can give you too much information and you end up spinning your wheels. And that's what this cuts through. It cuts through all that fat and it does the work of, hey, you don't need to get on the internet. You don't need to look up 50,000 YouTube channels. This is a classic mic. You're going to sound great and you're going to plug it into this and it plugs right into your computer and you don't need to worry about all the other stuff.
Right.
And I think
Right.
a lot of people get caught up in the weeds when you go to a more professional mic setup. You want the better sound. You don't want to invest in 50 other pieces of gear and accessories to get the sound you want out of that mic. And I think this is
Right.
such a great product because it cuts through all of that. And it's just like, hey, now you just plug it into your computer, you pull up an app, and everybody knows how to use apps and sliders now. And
Right.
I think it's really like it's such an understatement how good this product is as somebody who's been using this mic for years and sees the actual benefit of not having to go through an entire setup for the person who isn't doing a podcast, isn't running a radio show, and they just want to plug in and sound good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the beauty of it is, I mean, it's again, it's literally this. If I'm if I'm on the road, I can take this thing, and I can take my SM7B with a little desktop stand. I mean, this whole setup can fit in my backpack and have plenty more room for other stuff. It's this is probably the most portable, most portable and powerful interface I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, and you know
It's
what?
just
After using the MV7, it became one of those things where it's like I was always you get jaded and you're like, okay, XLR mic, USB mic, it'll never hold a candle. And you don't know anything about audio, but you're saying it because it's like, well, XLR, it looks more professional. It's
right.
supposed to be better. And then you use the MV7, you're like, wow, that was such a great experience. And
Yeah.
I can bring it anywhere. And it's like if I'm going to record over at a friend's house or if a friend needs to borrow it. I have a mentee of mine borrowing mine right now. And you know what?
Yeah.
It took me 30 seconds to explain how to use it versus, hey, you're gonna have to set up this up and plug it into this. And now I need to give you one of my spare audio interfaces. And then you got to do this
Right.
and this. And then you got to check your gain. And it's a nightmare.
Right.
This
And
makes it
and I
easy.
mean, literally, I mean, it's, it can be as easy or as advanced as you want it to
Mhm.
be. For the beginner, you just keep it in the auto gain mode, and it's going to do all the driving for you. You really don't have to worry about anything. And then once you get your feet wet with it, you learn a little bit more, then you can switch over to the manual mode and have a little bit more control over it. But the main thing with this is you plug it in and it just works. You don't have to have an audio degree. It's just super simple. Plug it in and it works. That's the
I don't have to
big
mess around
takeaway.
on the back of my mic.
That's
I
right.
don't have to, nothing adjusted there. Couldn't tell you
Yeah.
how long I'm like, I feel like I'm an idiot for not knowing how to adjust it. And I love the fact that, like you said, you can grow into it. You can
Right.
start very basic and it still doesn't even at its most complicated level, it's still not complicated.
Yeah.
You heard when you were adjusting the levels there, I hear what it does to your voice. I may not know what all the stuff means, but I know
Right.
that when I drag this down, okay, I get those deeper tones. I get more bass in your voice.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And I mean, this is it. I mean, it's bus powered. There's no batteries. There's no charging. Nothing like that. Your computer is going to send the power to it. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this.
fair. I mean,
That's
cut
really
and
it.
dry. Look, this was a
That's it.
nice, quick, easy session today.
I
I got to take a look at this. You guys were showing it to me on the Build Expo floor,
Yeah.
and it really is. It's great. You can't understate how great it is, but it is. It's a simple,
Yeah.
tiny product you can bring anywhere, and it's like, why? If you have an SM7B, why wouldn't you have it?
Yeah.
Goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to spend an hour talking to you about this, but it's designed to be so simple that there just isn't that much to it.
I know. It's
That's
like
the beauty of it.
we can sit here, spin our wheels, and everything. It's
Yeah.
great. If you have an SM7B, you need it. Get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously because Shure makes the SM7B, it's optimized for it, but it does not, if you have another microphone, any dynamic microphone, any condenser microphone, again, it's going to supply phantom power for your condensers. So it doesn't have to be used with a Shure microphone. We would love it if you did use it with a Shure microphone, but you don't have to. So any mic out there, it's compatible as long as it's got a standard XLR jack, which most of them do have.
There you go. Well, Russ, always great
You
having
got
you
it.
and the rest of the Shore team on. We love your products and love the knowledge that you guys bring to our channel. As we were talking about in the green room, next time we're going to bring the guys back for a talk on music, movies. No, I had to throw it out.
I
It's
I
coming.
think it's great. Yeah,
We
there's
we,
so
we
much
got to do
gain.
it.
It goes up to 11 almost. It may as well go to 11
It may
for
as well.
movie quotes.
Well, Russ, great having you on. Definitely
Thank
a
you so
wonderful
much.
product. And look, you guys know where to find us. You know where to find Russ and the Shore team if you guys do have any questions. And you always know where to find the wonderful people at B&H that are there to answer your questions. They know way more than I ever will. So huge thank you to Shore for hosting today's event. And to all of our viewers out there, you know the drill. We do it for you. Can't do it without you. But alas, another rendition of the B&H virtual event space in the books. Catch y'all next time.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Russ.